Hey, Crystal Maiden here, and today I'm going to be tackling the 8-bit version of Sonic 1. Well, they call it an 8-bit version. It's actually an entirely new game, because it has completely different level design from Sonic 1 for the Genesis. It's kind of based on a beta version of Sonic 1, because, well, you'll see why later. An annoying thing about this game is that when you get 100 rings, you actually have the ring count reset to 0, and you can actually die because you get 100 rings and then your ring counter's at 0, and then you die because you got hit by an enemy. I guess it's technological limitations that they couldn't have 3 digits in the ring counter. I don't know. In order to activate the checkpoints in this game, you have to jump on them. And they're kind of annoying because after you respawn from them, you have to jump on them again, or they won't be activated anymore. And the next time you die, you'll respawn at the beginning of the level. You have to get to the end of a level with 50 rings or more, and that way you'll go to a bonus stage where you can get a whole bunch of lives. I don't think I mentioned this in the previous Sonic playthrough, but you get an extra life if you collect 100 rings. And that's why it's good to get as many rings as you can. But because of the annoying ring counter quirk that this game has, you're gonna find yourself intentionally avoiding rings after you get over 50 of them. Because the last thing you want is to have over 50 rings, and then all of a sudden it gets reset back to 0, and now you can't get the bonus stage because now you can't get nearly enough rings for the bonus stage. Because the levels in this game are so short and they don't have that many rings in them, so it's very easy to complete them. It's like, yeah. The Game Gear version is also something I'm going to be tackling. I'm not going to be doing all of it. I'm just going to show off what exactly is different about it. There's some minor level design differences, and the bonus stages are pretty obviously different. I love that part of the level. Like people try to say that there's absolutely no fast parts of a game on the Game Gear, but you know, I think that's a pretty fast part. And I would rage quit the game. I would rage quit the game a lot here because I'd get all the way to that part of the level and I'd fall into the pit, and because I'd lose all my rings, I won't be able to get the bonus stage. And if you screw up that badly in the first level of the game, you're a lot more likely to rage quit and start all over again. And as you can see, there's completely different level design and gimmicks for the bonus stage of the Game Gear version. The Game Gear version has these moving platforms that act like trampolines, and so you can use them. You can use them to your advantage, but they can be either your friend or your worst enemy because they can constantly be sending you back down. And those yellow things are pretty annoying too because they send you all the way. They're like bumpers, only worse. That's basically how I'll describe them. And you wanna go into the bonus stages because they get you a lot of lives. And continues basically give you, when you lose all of your lives, then you start the game again, and now you have 3 different lives that you start out with. That's basically what happens when you have a continue. So that you're basically getting 3 extra lives that you only have access to after you lose all of your normal lives. I always thought it was really annoying how Sonic games have you start out with 3 lives instead of 5. I mean, I never thought that 3 was nearly high enough of a starting point. Because if you're having trouble with a stage, then chances are you're gonna lose all of those 3 lives very easily. In the actual game, the shield usually doesn't look the way it does. I think it's because of the compression rate, that sometimes you have the shield completely obscuring Sonic and sometimes it doesn't appear at all. In the actual game, it's constantly flickering. And so it looks kind of weird here. There's nothing I can do about that. Roll to a ball on those slopes, and then just hold down the A button, and you'll be launched forward, and you'll go flying. And that's easily my favorite part of this whole game, is the fact that you can roll down those slopes and jump off them and just start flying. It's like, I wish that appeared in more Sonic games. There's plenty of concepts from the 8-bit games that I really wish were introduced into the other games of Sonic. These bumpers are pretty annoying though. I mean, if you hit them too often and you get your momentum too high, you can end up flying all over the place, helplessly. And you can even get stuck and be unable to complete the bonus stage. And the annoying thing about these stages is that you have to reach the end before the timer runs out, or none of the lives or continues you got will be counted. At least I think that's how it works. It's really unintuitive how you have to hit them from the bottom for them to fall down and you're able to collect them. Like, it doesn't seem... It's not very easy for me to remember that. Nope, you do keep the lives. Good. So you don't have to reach the end of the bonus stage. And now it's time for the first boss in the game. I love how you can bring a shield from a previous act into the next act. That's something that no other Sonic game does, aside from the Game Gear titles. Basically what you have to do for this fight is wait until Eggman starts lowering to the ground, and only then can you attack him. As you can see, he's too high up for you to jump. I mean, come on, the boss fight would be a lot easier if you could just jump up to him while he was flying above you. I mean, then the boss would be over in like seconds. And there's no way that the designers of this game would ever make a boss fight that easy. Right? Right? Well, about that. One of the things that makes the Game Gear version of this game a lot easier is that the screen crunch can actually help come to your advantage. Because, look at this. The boss has to be on the top of the screen, right? And look, now you can just jump at him. This is the easiest boss ever. Like, this is literally the easiest boss in Sonic history. Because if he was at the height that he was in the Master System version, you wouldn't be able to really see him on the screen on the Game Gear version. So they had to do that. And that's the reason why I'm one of those weird people who actually prefers the Game Gear version to the Master System one. Because it's a lot easier, because you're probably not going... Because the screen crunch makes the bosses lower, and that makes it so that you're able to hit them a lot more. Which is good because... Oh god, the spike bug. I didn't talk much about the spike bug in the Genesis version of Sonic 1, but that's because it's really a non-issue. In this game, though, The spike bug is a lot more of a problem. Basically what it is that you can still be hit during your supposed invincibility frames. You can still be hit when you're stunned. And this means that you can get hit, then immediately get hit again, and be sent to your death. And this isn't the only level in the game where this will be a problem either. A lot of people love Bridge Zone. I mean, yeah, I rage quit here a lot too because I would fall into the pit because in the Game Gear version the screen crunch can be a bit of a problem because you're on the center of this. I think it's more of a problem with the way Sonic's positioned on the camera. Look, he's clearly at the center of the screen. In fact, he's to the right of the center of the screen. And that means that it's very easy for him to be running fast, and then all of a sudden something suddenly appears on the right side of the screen, and he runs into it, or he runs into a pit. Because you have to have pretty fast reflexes to avoid that. I think it would have been better if Sonic was always at the center or to the left of the center of the screen. Look, when you jump, can you see the ground below you? No, you can't. That's a major problem that I have with both versions of this game. It's not just the Game Gear version that has this problem. It's both versions of the game. You can't really see what's below you when you're jumping. And because of that, you have to memorize where the ground and where the platforms are because they're going to disappear from your view as soon as you jump. And that makes platforming a lot harder in both versions of the game. But you'll see what the game is like in the later parts. So yeah, we just passed by the first act of Bridge Zone, and a lot of people like that zone. I like its music, but a lot of people will go on to say that Bridge Zone was the best theme ever, and it's to the point where, aside from maybe Sunset Park, oh god, see this is a huge problem. Look at how much I was bounced around by the bumpers uncontrollably. This is why I don't like pinball levels very much. And it's gonna get worse, folks. But anyways, it's annoying how people talk about Bridge Zone's theme as if it's the only good song that any of the Sonic 8-bit games ever did, and that's just not the case. In fact, I actually like the theme of the zone coming up more than this. I like Bridge Zone's theme, it's all happy and stuff, but it's not the best thing since sliced bread. You can actually hear Bridge Zone's theme in Tails' theme in Sonic Adventure, or the melody anyways. Oh god, an auto-scrolling level. Look at this. There's a reason that most Sonic games don't have auto-scrolling levels. They're supposed to be fast-paced, and basically, this game is mostly about platforming. So I can forgive it having an auto-scrolling level, because it's mostly about platforming anyways. You're usually not encouraged to run fast, recklessly, because again, it's Sonic's position on the camera. That means that you'll have to be expected to react really quickly to oncoming threats if you just run ahead. And the smaller screen size on the Game Gear version of the game means that you can't really... It means that it's going to be a lot more likely that you're going to end up dying from running ahead recklessly. But still, I hate auto-scrolling levels in general, so... It's like, it makes Bridge Zone half good. I don't like the seesaws of this place. It just feels like it slows down the pace a little. Because, again, just like in Starlight Zone, it's not enough that you get launched up by them once. You have to launch yourself up 3 times, and when you're in an auto-scrolling level, there's a lot of pressure to jump on it fast enough, because if you don't do it fast enough, you're gonna end up getting killed, because you can't progress. Eventually you're going to learn with time that it's only the horizontal bridges that fall when you stand on them. It's not the diagonal ones. But when I was first playing this zone, I was paranoid of all the bridges because I didn't learn yet that it was only the horizontal ones that fell. And the spiked enemies, the ones you'll find in Spring Yard Zone, they're pretty annoying. The Master System version of the game is the only version that has the pinball flippers in the bonus stages. I don't really like them all that much, but I'm not very good at controlling pinball in general, so I just prefer the moving platforms. Some bonus stages are a lot harder to get lives and continues in than others. I'm already at 7 lives though. Like this game is definitely a lot easier than the one that comes right after it. Like, I like Bridge Zone, but it has its problems. It's kind of tricky to get the Chaos Emerald in it because you have to let a platform fall. Oh god. Yeah, that was cheap. And look, the boss just fired upwards and that killed me and there was nothing I could do about it. The problem with the bosses in this game is that you have to fight them with no rings, and that makes them incredibly tense and easy to die in. And you have to just rapidly tap the A button when you're fighting this guy, so that you'll keep bouncing off of him. Because otherwise, you'll land in the water and drown after you hit him. The Game Gear and Master System versions of this boss are actually pretty different. And this one's kind of tricky because the slope physics of the bridge you're on kind of, well, it's not as bad as in. Look, they thought that I was standing on the bridge, and that's how I died. Again, you have to rapidly press the A button to make sure you always bounce off him. As long as you keep standing still on the slope and jump to move around, you're not going to be thrown off by the slope physics and end up going into the enemy. Like, this is definitely the easier version of the boss. It's harder in the Master System version. That's the major reason why I prefer this version of the game to the Master System version, because the Master System version is a lot harder. And it's kind of a bad thing when the game is too hard when there's no save system at all. Like, there's no level select code for one of the versions of these games. I think it's the Game Gear version. So if you die, you have to play the whole game all over again. So that was Bridge Zone, folks. See you in the next part.